Hello, my name is Brian Alderson, and I am a Senior Instructional Designer for Trellix. Today, we'll take a look at the Trellix EDR extensions and associated policies. We can see, after logging into EPO, that our main repository does not have any EDR packages and our extensions page also does not show any available EDR extensions. We can either check these in manually or by navigating to the catalog. We can select EDR from the menu, and after acknowledging the license agreement, can check them all in at once. After checking in the Trellix EDR extension, all dependent extensions and packages are installed. This includes the DXL broker, snapshot, and client extensions. Extensions in EPO allow us to set up the Cloud Bridge access to Trellix Cloud Services and configure the EDR client on the managed endpoints. Let's take a quick look at the EDR policy pages. After installing Trellix EDR, there are several preset policies available in the policy catalog. Trellix default policy is enforced by default after installation. You can use the General Policy tab to enable or disable read-only option for data folders and to configure content update options. You can use the System Info tab to configure the System Information plugin on the managed devices. The Process History Collector displays the status, create time, and terminated time of any running or terminated processes. You can use the Network Flow tab to configure the Network Flow plugin on monitored devices. This includes enabling network sniffing and Network Flow Collector configuration options. You can also configure to collect TCP, UDP, system process information, and/or to set exclusions for collection. You can use the File Hashing Policy tab to configure the File Hashing plugin on managed endpoint devices. This allows you to enable or disable the files collector and trigger capabilities on the managed endpoint devices. You can use the Trace Policy tab to configure the Trace plugin on managed endpoint devices. Event information is sent to Trellix EDR and displayed on the historical search page. Here you can specify the level of information to include in the trace log file. The Send Traces to Trellix EDR Cloud option is enabled by default. This sends traces collected on the endpoint to Trellix EDR Cloud. With the Send Traces to AWS S3 bucket enabled, it sends traces collected on the endpoint to an external Amazon Web Services S3 bucket. The Logger tab in the policy lets you configure how endpoints log Trellix EDR client service events. This information provided in the logs can be used to view the progress of the client service along with events useful to identify problems with Trellix EDR client execution. Let's now take a quick look at the server-side settings for EDR. Under Trellix EDR settings, you can enter and view your tenancy URL, API forwarding settings, options to enable debug stack trace, and configure email notifications. You can enable the forward API service when integrating with SIEM and using EPO extension as a proxy in generating webhook URL for managed integrations. The forward API feature enables you to create an investigation directly on Trellix EDR from SIEM using the Trellix EDR extension. When editing the Trellix EDR settings page, you can also configure debugging, email notifications, and how endpoint snapshots are sent to Trellix EDR. In order to connect Trellix EDR to your EPO and larger Trellix environment, the Trellix EPO SaaS Cloud Bridge connection needs to be established. The configuration settings are available in EPO in the Server Settings page under Trellix EPO SaaS Cloud Bridge. The Cloud Bridge is a bridge between the on-premise EPO server and Trellix Cloud services. It enables on-premise EPO users to be associated with a specific tenant and have access to the Trellix Cloud services. For your initial setup of Trellix EDR with EPO on-prem, you'll need to ensure you're accessing the correct EDR data center based on the tenant location you are assigned. This will be provided to you with your tenant and is configured under the DXL Cloud Data Bus option. Here you can specify the DXL Cloud Data Bus location and proxy authentication information if needed. As a recap, after installing Trellix EDR extensions and packages, the related policies are available in the policy catalog. You can use Trellix EPO on-prem policies to configure Trellix EDR clients. Based on how the policies are configured, all device event data is sent to Trellix EDR for effective threat detection. Thanks for watching, and be sure to view our other available Trellix Smart Tips.